then I look at my photos and I'm like, I do not want to title them.
Yeah.
Like I just
and
look at them and
it's interesting, and I want to break that down more, like why that's different, because it is. I think photos are in a great photo project. It's a collection of work that talks to each other. It works together. It speaks and creates new, visual connections and new connections and ways of thinking about things. That's what a great photo project does, much like a great film. And when you're making a film, you're not going in and titling each frame.
Right.
It's working together, though. You're not titling each scene. And there's
Quentin,
examples.
you might title each act.
Exactly. There's examples where like chat. And so as I'm saying this, I'm like, where is the line drawn? Is it just, did we just pick some arbitrary line and we're like, this is because it feels like this is right. It feels like we're saying something that probably is true. I feel like you don't want to title individual photos, and this doesn't go for everything. In some situations, it might be worth it to title the photo if that fits into the whole of the project.
I wonder if it's the difference of sort of the nature of that thing's origin. So a movie, a book, a poem, they're all like sort of premeditated, right? They're crafted. You have a question, a struggle, a character that you see, a world that a character portrait, a world you want to explore. Two sides of an argument coming together, and you're not taking sides. You're just, sort of letting it play out, whatever it is in the piece of work that you're creating. And there's no doubt photographs that are premeditated, someone gets, a subject, they light them, or they create a scene, Gregory Crewdson, right?
Yeah.
If I'm saying it right, like his photos are about as crafted as they get. And they're, they're very cinematic.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
interesting.
With street photography and some more of the stuff that we do, I feel like I'm like just out there waiting for something to happen that clicks, pun intended, and I take a photograph and I'm capturing something that really happened. And I don't know that it's appropriate, at least for me, to title whatever that thing was. I know what it meant to me. I know what it felt like, but I'm not coming into it going, but then like with Cape Light, right? Like he moved out there, I'm sure was just completely blown away by the imagery that he saw out there, especially having lived in the city for so long. And something compelled him to go out and craft these photographs, based on sunrise and the beach and houses and all that stuff. And Cape Light was that was the through line, the spine of the work.
And I mean, Aftermath.
Yeah.
Is World Trade Center book.
Yeah.
Yes. Very.
That was the word.
Aftermath. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I almost think, I had the thought while you were saying that, like it's, and I mean this in the least pretentious way possible, but it's poetry versus documentation.
Yeah.
If you're documenting, you need a title. If you're taking a portrait of a relevant social figure, like a celebrity, and your intention is not to create some kind of, archetype, visual archetype for a way of being.
Right.
But instead to document this person, you need a title.
Yeah.
But if I just go take a portrait on the street, now there might be the case that I want to document this person.
Right.
But there is the alternative use case where it's like, I just want to, this person has a vibe about them, has a demeanor, has something that's translating visually that I want to capture.
Yeah.
And then, I can't necessarily reach down on myself and examine what that is and put that into some kind of verbal, syntax, or attribute some kind of a meaning to it. And if I try to do that, then I'm limiting it. So it's like maybe it is that documentation versus you said the word poetry and it got me just stuck on that.
Yep.
I don't know if it's poetry, but
because I could see writing a poem and not having a title like
yeah.
that. But then if you had a collection of poems that had
Then you would
kind of a through line
well,
to
and
them,
I mean,
or
Walt,
some connective tissue.
Walt Whitman has, you know, plenty of poetry that has
no titles.
no title. It's just lines of
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the sunrise.